Yo, did she really say that?
No, I think she did.
Yo, what's good, everybody, and thank you for tuning in to another Sistas review. This is season 4, episode 5, entitled Life, Soul, and Heart. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning family member, you already know what it is and what it always will be. So the episode opens up with Danny and Logan. And so we find out collectively that Logan is a police officer and he's undercover for this thing that they're doing for sex trafficking young girls. And it was just weird because I'm like, dude, if you wanted to tell Danny what was up, this was not the proper way to go about it. Even as a police officer, he did not, state who he was. In Danny's perspective, you the dude who was trying to sex traffic a little girl at my job. Now you're at my door, so I can understand like where her fear came from or her being scared of the situation because she has a preconceived notion of who this man is, and it really wasn't so. I just felt like this scene was weird in a sense because he just could have told her who he was at her job. Like I didn't understand. It was such a weird scene. You know what I'm saying? So I did laugh when Danny asked to see his badge and she was like, man, they said at the dollar store. I thought that was funny. But she was like, I know somebody who do those. He was like, oh really? I would love to meet him. And her whole tone changed. Yeah, she could tell he was a cop for real. So basically, that's how that scene was. And just to close out with their scene, the next time we saw them, Danny was at work and Logan approached her and basically he was flirting with Danny. It was just so weird. I was like, Tyler, he could be having a good thing going on and then he does something that just makes it either uncomfortable, weird. Why? We just have those questions. So he's flirting with Danny. Danny isn't really giving him the time of day. And so he was like, come on, like you really think I'm that guy? He wanted to take her out to eat. And she was like, no. But basically, what I'm saying? I see that wedding band on your finger. And he was like, oh, no. Like this is a part of the get up. And she was like, yeah, tell that to somebody else. Actually, I have a friend named Andy. And I was like, wait a minute. The first time I saw Sistas, I missed that. I missed that whole thing that Danny said. And I'm like, I find it so interesting how Danny has such this, this anger towards Karen when I'm like, you literally just threw one of your best friends under the bus. Basically saying, oh, I got a gullible person that would believe what you're saying. I was like, wow, Danny. Wow. And I think Danny kind of, that's my dog and everything. But I'm like, Danny say some foul stuff. And just the fact that you would do that to your friend, I'm like, she's very questionable to me. Very questionable, especially when she's hurt. Excuse me. So the next scene is Andy and Sabrina. And so basically Andy calls Sabrina to let her know that she needs her to come to her house at 8 o'clock and also to bring Danny because Karen has something that she needs to tell them. And basically Sabrina was like, why you just didn't call Danny yourself? And she was like, because if I call her, she'll cuss me out. If you call her, there's a greater probability that she might actually show up. And so she was like, I don't know. She's pretty mad at her. And she was like, I know, but, at least try. So, like I said, that whole Danny being angry is just weird as hell to me. So, Sabrina and Maurice. So, we at the bank. And Maurice, I was so caught off guard by him that I bust out laughing. When he was like, she was like, it wasn't my idea. It was Calvin's. And, he thought it was a good idea. So what did you guys do? Did anything interesting happen? I'm like, Sabrina, interesting with those two? What did you think was going to happen, sis? I was like, this chick here, wow. And so when Maurice started explaining to her the things that they did, and she was like, oh, really? He was like, I'm being sarcastic. I died. I hollered. I was like that. I was so caught off guard that I just found it funny. I do not like the fact that Sabrina just allowed these people, especially Maurice, to continue. But this is a ongoing thing, to continue to disrespect her. And she treats it as if it's okay to do. And I'm just like, I would never understand that about this particular character. I just won't. So after Maurice gets up and leave, Danny calls Sabrina and she's telling her about the whole Logan situation and the fact that he's an undercover cop. so on and so on. So Sabrina tells Danny about going to Andy's house because Karen has something to tell them, and she doesn't want to hear it. She's still angry, call her a B. And I'm just like, exactly what are you mad at? I just want to know exactly what is Danny mad at? What is she angry about? I'm like, how the hell can you be angry and mad with someone for doing the same thing that you do consistently, that you have done consistently, especially to Karen's character? I don't get it. What are you mad at, sis? But that's when you begin to, when you begin to push your anger and everything else on someone who it's not supposed to be meant for, because it's really about herself and Danny's inability to be mature about situations. So, excuse me, y'all. I'm so sorry. Y'all probably could tell my voice is a little heavier tonight, but we're going to get through this. So Karen and Pam. So old girl shows up to Karen's shop again, being all mysterious. It's like, at this point, what the hell is she there for? Because this whole, Secret Service type of situation, I'm like, sis, you're not that important. What the hell do you want Zach for? You ain't even got to tell Karen. But with all the technology, with all the ways, the wins, and hows, you're telling me this is the only place you know to come to look for Zach? Help me to understand. You didn't go to the airport. You didn't try to contact anybody in Chain Breakers. All these known places. Just Karen's shop. But I'm going to talk more about that as far as what Tyler is doing with that entire situation, because I personally don't like it, but it is what it is. So basically, Pam steps in and tell old girl that, look, we don't know nothing. We ain't seen nothing. And we ain't saying nothing. So you might as well leave. So Karen tells the woman not to come back. And she was like, yeah, I hear you. I was like, yeah, please hear me. Please hear me. And so Karen was like, oh, I need you to do more than just hear me. But it was just her whole attitude like, yeah, I hear you. What you mean, sis? Don't come to my establishment anymore, because you borderline creepy right now. Because you're popping up. You're not saying what you want. And, of course, this is done intentionally with the way that Tyler has written this particular character. It's like, she's not that interesting. All we know is that she has something that she wants to tell Zach. She had something that she wanted Karen to give Zach, which I'm thankful that Karen did not accept whatever it is that she has. It's like, girl, get the hell on, because at this point, you irritating me at this point. So Pam was like, I'm going to find out who she is. So Pam writes down her license plate because she has a boo, one of her many boos, who just so happened to be into law enforcement. So she's going to take it down because she wants to find out who this woman is. So before she leaves, she asks Karen, does she want something to eat? And so she says yes. So Karen tells Pam that she has to go do the taxes. And so she was like, yeah, especially with that money Zach gave you, which I don't understand why this continues to get brought up. This is just another way for Tyler to keep Zach and Karen somewhere in each other's storylines, which is just stupid, but whatever. So she tells Pam that, she wants to get a house because her apartment is too small for her and the baby. Now, I got to bring this up because this is one of them things where social media was going absolutely crazy. It was like, I saw stuff like, oh, so she want a house because Zach got a house. Oh, she trying to come up because she sees Zach done came up. I said, why the girl just can't want a house for her and her child? She live in a 1-bedroom. A lot of people do upgrade or they increase in size when they're adding on. So I'm like, what is the problem? I said, you know what? Karen can't do nothing right. Karen can't do not a damn thing right on this show, but we're going to get more into that a little later. So, in a sense, I am interested in who this woman is. Like, why you just keep popping up? Just go to hell on somewhere. Sabrina and Maurice, again, there were so many scenes this episode with Sabrina and Maurice. But I'm with Maurice on this one. He was like, I'm so sick of y'all. I said, yes. Hallelujah. I'm sick of them too. I'm so sick of Sabrina and Calvin. I don't understand them. I don't understand why they're together. It just makes no sense. It just makes no sense. But Maurice really did come off. He was irritated this entire episode. And so they started talking about the vibrators. And I'm just like, Lord Jesus. It was funny. He was like, Calvin Lance can't say, oh, but when it's a vibrator around. I was like, Maurice, leave that man alone. Leave that man alone. And Sabrina was like, I'm going to write you up. I said, Sabrina, you're never going to write up Maurice. You have created this climate within y'all relationship. You're not going to ever do anything to him. He's not going to ever be reprimanded. He's not going to ever be written up. You're going to do everything in your power to save Maurice. Just period. So she sees that the correctional facility is calling. So we know that that's Q. I'm just like, why? Why is Q still? Something ain't right about Q. I don't think his elevators go all the way up to the top floor. I'm going to stand by that because there's something about him. I don't get him. I really don't get him. So Maurice basically, like, he ignores the call. But when Sabrina walks away, he answers. And, you know, he's like, what do you want? Why you keep calling? So Q tells him, girl, I'm trying to be your man. I was like, what? Baby, you can't be nobody man. You don't have a job. You do. Anyway, so he tells Maurice, like, you know, basically, Q was basically trying to, you know what I'm saying, talk about his manhood and how he can make Maurice feel. And Maurice was like, you know, I've had better. No, you haven't. I was like, what is wrong with this dude? Something is seriously wrong with Q. Something is wrong with Q. I'm just baffled at the fact that we're actually supposed to believe that this dude orchestrated this entire plan, but now he has snitched on people and he's getting out. How the hell you getting out? Q would not be getting out. I don't understand. I want him to leave Maurice alone. I want Maurice to stop answering his calls. He's pointless. Q is pointless at this moment. So I just want him to leave Maurice alone. And if Maurice needs attention that bad, Maurice got a real problem. So Fatima, Andy, and Hayden. I know a lot of people thought this scene was funny and laughed. And I ain't gonna lie, when Fatima was laughing, her laugh was really infectious. So you know how you laugh because you hear somebody else laughing, but not because of the situation. And that's kind of how it was for me. Like, her laugh was so infectious and contagious that it made me laugh. But I didn't think the situation was funny. I really didn't. And I'm really disliking, in my personal opinion, how Tyler is beginning to write Fatima. Because every episode now you're starting to hear, you know, I'm crazy, I'm touched, it's deadly to mess with me, don't mess with me. It's becoming a part of her tagline. It's in almost every episode now. And I'm just like, why is that important? If you that bad people don't walk around saying how bad they are. You just know. And I'm just like, why is this a constant dialogue for her? Like, why is this a constant line for her to say? But anyway, so we see Hayden. Now, why the hell, I'm sorry, that was funny. Why the hell he bobbling and stuff like that? But anyway, it was hilarious coming up there on them crutches. And, you know, that's when Fatima started to laugh. And Andy was like, you know, don't do that. That's not right. It's not funny. And I kind of felt bad for Hayden in that sense. I didn't feel bad for him until Fatima really kicked one of his crutches. I was like, you ain't have to do that, sis. You already done got the last laugh. You threatened him to don't have you post the naked pictures of him. Also, you know, she was like, she said, if you continue to escalate this, someone's going to end up in a body bag. And he said, yeah, it's going to be you. And Andy like popped him on his arm. And so she was like, oh, a threat. And Andy was like, yeah, I heard that. And so Fatima was like, yes, a witness. Thank you for that. And thank you for this bruise on my face. I said, now, wait a minute. Now, Fatima, you did the threat first. That's number one. And number two, I don't know any judge who will look at Fatima's one bruise and look at Hayden as if life almost got taken away from him and sided with her. I'm like, Tyler, come on. I understand you trying to make Fatima whatever you trying to make Fatima. But come on, dude. No, ain't nobody gonna look at Fatima and Hayden and believe that he got the best of her. Come on. We surely see who got their ass beat, okay? But anyway, that's how that went. And they laughed all the way into the work building. So I was like, okay, all right. So I already talked about that. Karen, Tanya, and Preston. So So they pop up at the shop. Her hair looking a mess. It wasn't all that to begin with, but her hair was looking a mess. Supposedly Preston got it wet. They didn't say how, but I think we already know. How how he got her hair wet. I'm trying to understand how Preston, who ain't never been, except that one time, ever been to no black establishment, talking about, oh yeah, I'm gonna just take you. She gonna do your hair. Dude, that ain't how this work. Trust me, this is not how this work. So anyway, they come. Karen is like, you know, what happened? She tells Tanya that she can't see her, but she asked for Preston to follow her to the back. So they talk. And she was basically asking him, like, what are you doing? Like, are you trying to make Danny jealous by, you know, dealing with this woman? And he was like, no, like, that's not what I'm doing. And so she was like, so you want me to call Danny and let her know that you're down here? And he was like, no, I do not want you to do that. And I'm like, Tyler, why would you have Karen say that? Why would that be the first place her mind went? Now, I don't necessarily believe that she's all the way off, because I do believe that Preston either A, maybe thought that Danny was going to be there, or 2, just thought Karen was going to call anyway. That's what I feel. I feel like there was a very specific reason that he showed up there unexpectedly, especially when Tanya was like, I told him I should call, but he said, no, we should just come up. And I was like, yeah, Preston, you capping. You capping. You definitely wanted something to happen. You wanted Danny to be there, because we saw in the preview after the show that he called Danny, was asking her what she was doing while he was still at Karen's shop. And so that was that scene. Don't understand it, but all right. So then we get to Karen and Fatima. So Karen, I'm with a lot of people on this. So Karen calls Fatima. Well, excuse me. Karen calls Zach's phone, and Fatima answers it. She didn't recognize Fatima's voice. So she was like, may I speak to Zach? Or is Zach there? She was like, no, he isn't. And so she was like, can you tell him that I called? And Fatima was like, who was this? Karen. She was like, who is this? Whoever picked up the phone. I said, well, damn. I still think Karen owes Fatima an apology for how she showed out at that job. But that's neither here nor there. So they had their little thing, whatever. She was like, is Zach there? And she was like, no, he isn't. And Karen was like, I don't know if I believe you. I was like, Karen, who gives a damn? Who gives a damn if you believe her or not? When she said that Zach wasn't there, that was your cue to say, okay, I just need you to give him this message for me. The woman who I've already told him about, she showed up at my shop again, and I'm just letting him know, or whatever the case may be, because he did ask Karen to give the woman his telephone number. I probably would have been like, Karen, I wouldn't do nothing to help Zach. Do it yourself. I'm not doing nothing. That just would have been me. So Karen was like, Zach doesn't go anywhere without his phone. And Fatima was like, well, I don't know what he did when he was with you, but with me, he's not on it much. And Karen was like, okay. So clearly this was, to me, an indication to show that regardless of what's going on with Fatima and Zach in this whole Karen situation, Karen knows him. Karen knows him. Karen knew that he has a phone. We know that much. He got a phone. Fatima think he don't got a phone. He got another phone. And not only that, I like Fatima. Fatima gave Zach that fake password while he actually gave this woman the password to his phone. I was like, Zach, To me, that's not an indicator of trust. Why do I need your cell phone password? Because whatever you're doing in the dark, it shall come to the light. That's how I look at things. But that was a funny scene in a sense, but also just to know that Karen still knows Zach. And then in the same time, it's like, I do not want to see these women have this issue, have this elephant that needs to be resolved, that needs to be talked about. There's no reason why they should not have had a resolve to what happened, for Karen to have apologized, to move on. There's no reason for them to have issues between them. That's just me. Sabrina and Calvin, to me, at some point, the apologies mean nothing. Calvin apologizes about the same things over and over again. And then he told Sabrina, like, how about we try again? Try again? How many times y'all gonna try again? I want them to be done. Finito. Finished. Complete. Ended. Like now. So, she told Calvin wanted to take her out again. And she told him that she will be driving because she won't she doesn't want to get left again. And I said, now wait a minute, Sabrina, because in all honesty, she told Calvin that she wasn't going anywhere with him, that she would get an Uber or something like that. So I'm like, I can't completely put that on Calvin, because you stated, sis, what you did not want to do, and you didn't. And so that's how I felt about that situation. And so Karen and Aaron. So Karen tells Aaron that, well, he brings her lunch. Now, this is where Tyler just pissed me off with this writing. Because when it was Karen and Pam in the shop with old girl who took an hour to fold them towels, clearly Pam said they were closing. We go from them being closing to Preston and Tanya coming in and them having people in the shop with the workers. And then Aaron comes and said he's bringing lunch. How you bringing like this writing was all this episode gave me a headache, to be perfectly honest with y'all. So I'm like, okay, so he comes over and Pam was like, you better reimburse me because I already bought food. So they go to the back because he said he wanted to massage Karen's feet. And so Pam started talking about everybody's feet in the shop. She's like, y'all know she lazy, basically talking about Karen's feet ain't trash and the other two people don't get their feet done either. And she told the dude, something with your feet looking like an orangutan. I said, you know what? Pam has really grown on me. At one point, I really did not like Pam. But one thing that it's crazy because it seems like Pam is one character who has actually experienced growth. I really do love the fact that we have seen Karen just go from the nosy employee, nosy assistant, to actually being like a ride or die for Karen, like really being a friend. Almost more of a friend to her than her actual sisters. So I have really enjoyed seeing that bond between them, and even still their dynamic of humor. You know, their cracks going back and forth. I really have enjoyed that a lot. It's actually been refreshing. Pam has really grew on me. I really do like her. So when they go to the back, he's massaging her feet and everything, and Karen asks him like, why is he so sweet? And Aaron tells her that he's not. And she was like, well, I believe you are. And, he was like, well, that's not necessarily true. Things affect me, because she felt like nothing affected him. Nothing shocked him. And he was like, that's not necessarily true. And so she was like that Aaron has seen her at her worst. And he was like, I don't know about that. And he felt that Karen has definitely seen him at his worst, being drunk and being out of control. And she was like, oh, yeah, as if she forgot. And that's why I was like, I'm glad that Tyler corrected that, because I just hated seeing so much about her feeling like I've never seen another side of Aaron. You've seen many sides of Aaron. Aaron has told her, and I said this in one of the other recent videos I did, like, you've seen so many sides to this man. This man corrected you, letting you know that you would not talk to him like you talk to Zach. That he is a man. You're going to respect that, and you're going to respect him by the things that you say, and be careful about what you say. To the point that Karen apologized to him, and we had never heard her apologize to nobody up until that point. So it was like, no, like, let's not play him like that. He's not no goody two shoes. He's not this perfect person. A good man, but not perfect. So he just asked her, like, why seeing him at his words was so important to her. And she was like, I feel like it's important to see someone at, at all their stages. And he was like, that's true. And I think Karen was kind of like feeling him out, fishing him out. And so it was like a little pregnant pause. That fits. But it was like this little pause, and she was like, I'm pregnant. And he kind of looked at her like, what? And that's how the show went off. Now, let me say this, baby. Karen can't breathe without, listen, it was so, those who are on Facebook, whatever Facebook forum group you in, I think I'm in 2. And I know it's so many out there. It don't matter which one you in. I know there were so many posts about why Karen ain't told nobody she pregnant. When she gonna tell them she pregnant? Why she not saying nothing? I don't believe she pregnant, because if she was pregnant, she would have told somebody. If she ain't got morning sickness. And I'm just like, y'all stop it. Stop it. So now that she's told Aaron, because that was when she gonna tell Aaron? When she finally tells Aaron, oh my God, I saw so many. She gonna tell him like that? She ain't even prep him. I said, what the hell do y'all want? Excuse me, literally, what is it that you want? I'm like, she finally told them it's not good enough. She shouldn't have said it like that. I said, well, she did tell Aaron the night before that she had something that she needed to talk to him about, and that she wasn't ready to say it that morning. She wasn't ready to say it. She's processing it. She got to the point that she could literally tell him. And I think sometimes because there's such a dislike for this character, and I'm like, when you think about this scenario, Karen believes that she's pregnant by Zach. Now I have to tell the man who I want to be in a relationship with, start something with, that I am pregnant by my ex. That's a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot. And even though these are, characters in the sister world, they're real. So it's like, their feelings, their emotions, whether they're jacked up or not, they are real. And I thought how she said, she just blurted it out. There have been many a times I've had to tell somebody something, don't know how to quite to say it. And the easiest thing for me to do is just to blurt it out. Just to say that this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I understood that. I did understand that her sentiment was just telling him how it was. And now, I guess she was scared to see like what was going to happen once he knows. And I'll do a video on the trailer and the preview that happened after the show. Overall, I just, season 4 is just not hitting well for me. You have moments within the episodes, but you know what I'm saying, it is what it is. Now that she's got it out, I'm interested to see how, it's going to pan out when she tell her friends. And, hopefully Danny shows up and they can have a moment because they need it, because their sisterhood is jacked up. It really is. So we shall see what happened. So thank you guys for listening. Until next time, I will holler at y'all later. When?